I love cars. I love the sense of freedom I felt when I first drove by myself. I named my first car the Brown Hornet, and it had a personality all of its own. I love my new car. It's an EV, it drives very smooth, we charge it off solar, and we will never pay for petrol again. I think it's absolutely wonderful. We're a one-car family. We have the car, we have an e-bike, heaps of fun, and we live where we can walk to school and where we can walk to work. We are very lucky. In Bendigo, there are 80,000 cars. 20% of homes own 3 or more cars. 90% of all trips in Greater Bendigo are by car. More people are buying bigger cars. The average car costs $10,000 a year to run. The development on the edge of town has further entrenched the car in Bendigo as the only transport option. And half the space in the city centre is dedicated to the car. That is half the space in the CBD. We live in a car city. Car is unbelievably dominant. If aliens came down from space, they would actually think that the car is the dominant life form in Bendigo. And if they read the comments section online, they would think that we revere parking as some kind of god to bow down to. But poor parking, what are we going to do? We live in a car-dependent city. We don't have transport choice here. The buses are viewed as unsafe. They take people on a wild goose chase around Bendigo, and many people die waiting for one to arrive. The trains take us to Melbourne, they don't take us around Bendigo. Cycling is not a safe option for most people. 6% of people are happy to cycle in traffic, whereas 83% of people are happy to cycle when they're separated from cars. Walking, if I had $1 for all the parents that said they didn't let their kids walk to school because of the number of cars, I'd be very rich. But in 2025, we've come to a fork in the road. We now know that the population of Greater Bendigo is going to grow to 180,000 people by 2045. And as a result, 70,000 more cars are expected in Greater Bendigo by that time. Just to give you an idea of how big that is, if you put them bumper to bumper, they'd stretch 313 kilometres, or from Big Hill to Huntley, all 4 lanes stacked 4 cars high. That's what's coming with business as usual. That's not a choice, that is what's going to happen. Traffic jam, anyone? So we can either keep going with business as usual, and we can re-engineer and rebuild all of the roads in Bendigo and build the new car parks that we'll need for those cars, but we would miss a one-off opportunity that we have right now to build a new vision that will create a transport system that is better for everyone, including, and I want to be really clear, including drivers. No one wants to drive when there's 4 cars stacked on top. For the last 8 months, City of Greater Bendigo staff and Department of Transport and Planning staff, together with the Institute for Sensible Transport, have been asking a huge question. Can we build the walking, cycling and public transport systems to deliver 66% of all trips in Bendigo by 2045? What will that cost? What will the benefits be? So now we have a pathway, a possible pathway, and we have some choices to make as a community about what direction we're going to go. Business as usual, 4 lanes stacked 4 high, or we could design a new transport system that revolutionises how we get around in Bendigo and where we live and where we work. So you're about to hear a big new vision for Greater Bendigo and for regional cities around Australia. While I lay it out, I want you to have in the back of your mind that the new vision will either cost $15 billion more or $15 billion less. I'm not telling you which until later, but keep that in the back of your mind. Are we ready? Okay, the new vision. Number 1, step 1, we need a compact city. We need our development to occur. We need quality infill development. We need to stop the spread of the city because we need more people living closer to their workplace, to their schools, to their shops, to their parks and to transport options. Step 2, cycling. We need everyone to be able to cycle everywhere. We need to reallocate road space to build separated cycling lanes on main roads. We need to build a complete network of shared paths across the city, and we would need to make all local streets quiet shareways, 30 kilometres an hour, so that people can drive and walk and cycle in the same local place. If we could do those things, 8% of trips in Greater Bendigo could be on a bike. Step 3, walking. We need universal footpath access, and we need pedestrian priority around all of our activity centres: shops, schools, kinders, playgrounds, workplaces. If we're able to do that, 25% of all trips in Greater Bendigo could be walking. Step 4 is buses. We need buses to take us from everywhere to everywhere else. We need them to pass every 10 minutes if we live in town, every 20 minutes if we live around the edges of town, and every 30 minutes to our small towns. We need to reallocate road space to create dedicated bus lanes. We need that to happen, the buses to be running all through the day and well into the night. Now we get to the big one. Step 5 is trains. We need to build the Bendigo Metro Rail. We need to build 13 new train stations around Bendigo. We need to replicate the train line, electrify the train line, and run 10-minute trains all day and night. I said that was the big one. Now, if we were able to do that with the buses and the trains, 75% of the Bendigo population would live within 800 metres of a train station and 400 metres of a bus stop, which means that 33% of all trips in Greater Bendigo could happen by public transport. It's a little bit exciting, that one. As Gustavo Petro said, he's the president of Colombia, he said, a developed country is not a place where the poor have cars, it's a place where the rich are using public transport. At the end of all this, 33% of all trips in Greater Bendigo would still be by car. They'd be mostly EVs. Anyone who needs to drive can drive. Anyone who wants to drive can drive. It's just that cars won't be the dominant life form in the city. It means that everyone will have a transport choice. All adults, and especially women, will have more transport choices. Children, people with the disability, the ageing, will all have transport choices that they have never had before. So, that's the new vision. You reckon that's cheaper? Because I'm hearing everyone in the audience going, no way is that cheaper. Building 13 new train stations, no way that's cheaper than what we currently have. Well, the good news is I wouldn't be standing here talking if the cars were cheaper. I'm going to lay out the financials for you up until 2045. To build the business as usual city, 70,000 more cars, re-engineering, redesigning all the roads, building the car parks, and missing out on the economic benefits would cost us $45 billion. That's not a choice, that's what we will spend if we keep going the way we're going. The new vision will cost $30 billion when all the costs and benefits are included. We would be $15 billion better off allowing our kids to walk and cycle to school, to be able to walk, cycle, catch a train or catch a bus to work, to build local streets that are about community connection and being together. The fewer cars we have on our streets, the more friends we have. That's a really great study from 1979. We'd be able to develop the really vibrant shopping strips that more people want to come to with more wallets. Every study ever has said that if more people walk and cycle, trade increases. The tourists will flock here, just like we flock to Europe to be in the same kind of city. And our young people might even decide to stay here after school because our city will be totally lit, bussin' and Sigma. I really hope my 12-year-old explained those terms to me properly before I arrived. So we get all that, $15 billion better off. In fact, road deaths and injuries would come down so much, and air pollution would come down so much, and physical activity would go up so much that we would generate $3.8 billion in health benefits in that time, which is absolutely huge. We would spend $3 billion less on roads, which would nearly pay for the train stations. We'd spend $10 billion less on cars between now and 2045. The average Bendigo resident will be $1,200 better off every year, out beyond 2045. To create the new vision, every dollar spent on walking would create $10 in benefits. Every dollar spent on cycling would create $4 in benefits. On public transport, $1.70. And in total for the new vision, for every dollar spent, we would create $2 in benefits. Now, I don't know about you, but I think this is the most exciting vision I've ever heard in my life. I want to live in this new vision. I want my grandkids to live in this new vision. But it also terrifies me, absolutely terrifies me, because it is so much easier to just continue with business as usual. Change is really hard. People don't like change. Governments find change hard as well. But as Frances Hodgson Burnett once said, at first people refuse to believe that a strange new thing can be done, and then they begin to hope that it can be done, and then they see it can be done, and then it is done, and all the world wonders why it wasn't done centuries ago. Change is really hard. If we were going to make this new vision happen, the community would need to advocate really hard. Our politicians would need to fight really hard for limited funding. All three levels of government would need to collaborate to change the way that road funding is organised and delivered. Local and state government would need to change direction and deliver this at the street level. We've got this pathway mapped out. There are actions mapped out every 5 years, all the way to 2045. It's the most effective pathway, but there are many, many possible futures that are going to happen from this point. But we cannot now say that we didn't know what we could have. As Jane Jacobs, the urban activist, once said, cities have the capability of providing something for everybody, only because and only when they are created by everybody. This is our opportunity to make our city brilliant. Thank you.